In the heart of chaos, when the world screams and storms rise, there exists a silence only the disciplined can hear. It is the silence of Shin, the true heart, unshaken by fear, unmoved by anger. This is the essence of Musashi's secret system, the art of staying calm when everything around you burns. They say steel is born in fire, but the samurai knew it is not the fire that makes the sword strong. It is the hammer, the relentless pressure, the strikes that test its spirit, that gives its soul. The same is true for us. Every trial, every insult, every failure is the hammer that forges your calm. To stay calm under pressure is not weakness, it is mastery. It is to walk the path of Bushido, where honor is not found in the absence of fear, but in the control of it. Where emotion becomes your servant, not your master. So, warrior, if you are ready to forge your spirit into unbreakable steel, if you are ready to train your mind like a sword, sharp, silent and precise, then comment, "I am the storm below." Subscribe and join this community of modern warriors. Those who walk the ancient path with fire in their hearts and stillness in their eyes. Because together, we are not escaping pressure. We are becoming stronger than it. In the philosophy of the samurai, the mind is not merely a tool. It is the battlefield itself. When chaos erupts, when the sound of uncertainty roars, and when the weight of the moment presses against the chest, it is not the sword or strategy that decides victory, but the stillness of one's heart. The ancient masters called this state Shin, the true heart, a center of balance between body and spirit. To master Shin is to become the eye of the storm. Everything moves, yet you remain unmoved. The world may shake with fear, but within there is silence. This silence is not empty. It is alive, filled with awareness sharper than any blade. In that moment, every breath, every thought, every movement becomes deliberate, pure, and precise. The warrior does not escape chaos. He walks through it with the calm of a mountain untouched by wind. His still mind reflects reality without distortion, perceiving things as they truly are. This is where true strength begins, not in reaction, but in deep inner composure. To cultivate such calm is not achieved by chance or talent. It is born through relentless practice, the daily forging of the mind in the fires of adversity. Musashi himself trained not only his body but his spirit to withstand pressure. When others sought to dominate through aggression, he found dominance through stillness. He understood that the moment one's mind trembles, clarity vanishes and confusion enters like poison. Therefore, every meditation, every sword swing, every pause between breaths was a ritual of mastery. The still mind is not frozen, it is awake, a lake so calm that even the smallest ripple reveals truth. In this state, the samurai perceives danger before it arises. Not because of supernatural ability, but because his senses are unclouded. The chaos that overwhelms others becomes his teacher, shaping his composure and sharpening his intuition. The secret is not to control the world, but to control oneself. Shin under chaos demands awareness beyond emotion. When fear strikes, the mind races. When anger flares, judgment burns. The warrior's task is to step beyond both, to observe emotion without being enslaved by it. This is the power of Fudoshin, the immovable mind, which remains calm amid attack, insult, or defeat. To achieve it, one must confront the roots of distraction, ego, expectation, and attachment. The still mind cannot coexist with a desperate need to win or to prove something. It lives in pure action, not reaction. Imagine a swordsman in a duel. His opponent roars, charges, and strikes wildly, but his eyes remain soft, his breathing even. The world slows down for him. His movements are fluid, effortless, inevitable. This serenity is not weakness, it is total control. The samurai who masters Shin acts with precision because nothing inside him resists the present moment. Imagine a serenity is not weakness. It is total control. The samurai who masters Shin acts with precision because nothing inside him resists the present moment. He becomes aligned with it and thus unstoppable. Training the still mind means learning to breathe within chaos. Breath is the bridge between the body and spirit. It carries the fire of emotion and the water of awareness. The samurai treated breath as sacred, for it reveals the state of one's heart. When breath is shallow, fear dominates. When it is deep, the heart steadies. In the heat of battle, Musashi's breath remained calm, rhythmic, not because he ignored fear, but because he accepted it. Acceptance transforms fear into focus. In modern life, our battles are not fought with swords, but with stress, deadlines, and uncertainty. Yet the principle remains unchanged. Calm breath equals calm mind. When you learn to anchor your breath amid tension, you reclaim mastery over your emotions. The moment you exhale slowly, you tell your body that you are safe, your mind that you are present, and your spirit that it is free to see clearly. The still mind is the foundation of all great achievement, whether in combat, art, leadership, or life. It is the hidden power that turns chaos into clarity and pressure into strength. When the storm of life rages, most are swept away by its noise, but the warrior who has mastered Shin stands at its center, eyes open, heart silent, spirit unbroken. This is not a gift of birth, it is a choice, a discipline of returning again and again to inner silence, even when the world demands reaction. The samurai did not seek peace because life was gentle. He forged peace because life was war. In this path lies the essence of Musashi's wisdom. To remain still not because the world is calm, but because you have become calm within it. This is the art of Shin, the unshakable mind under chaos, the flame that burns without flickering, the soul that stands unmoved as life's storms pass around it. In the teachings of the samurai, breath is more than the rhythm of life, it is the rhythm of mastery. The warrior who cannot control his breath cannot control his mind, and without control of the mind no victory can be achieved. The samurai understood that between life and death there exists only one breath, and that single breath determines everything. When panic rises, when the pulse of fear quickens, the undisciplined mind begins to drown in its own storm. But the warrior breathes deeper, slower, anchoring his spirit in the stillness beneath the chaos. This is not ordinary breathing, it is kokyu, the ancient art of conscious respiration, a bridge between body, heart, and spirit. With each exhale, fear dissolves. With each inhale, clarity returns. In this sacred exchange of air, the samurai transforms his panic into precision, his confusion into control. The one who owns his breath owns the moment. In the middle of battle, when arrows fly and hearts tremble, Musashi remained unshaken, not because he lacked fear, but because he mastered it through his breath. The breath becomes a command to the body. Be still, act when it's time, strike when it's true. Through breath, the samurai creates rhythm in chaos. Every inhale draws focus, every exhale releases hesitation. Like the tide that moves with divine patience, his breathing synchronizes with motion, thought, and instinct. The sword becomes an extension of that flow, effortless, balanced, alive. This is why Musashi often said that one must fight as one breathes, naturally, calmly, continuously. Panic breaks the rhythm, breath restores it. And when the rhythm of calm returns, so does the ability to act with perfect timing. Modern life is not a battlefield of blades, yet its pressures cut deeply. When stress floods the system, when the mind starts racing and decisions blur, the ancient wisdom still applies. Breathe. The deeper you breathe, the more space you create between reaction and response. In that space lies power. The power to choose clarity over chaos, presence over panic, The samurai trained their breathing daily not for the sake of combat alone, but to strengthen the spirit against all forms of pressure. By practicing controlled breathing, you teach your nervous system that no matter how fierce the situation becomes, you remain the master within it. The mind follows the breath, and when the breath is steady, thoughts fall into order, emotions obey, and focus sharpens like a blade under flame. The warrior's breath is not merely physical, it is spiritual discipline. In Japanese philosophy, this is the essence of ki, the energy of life that flows through all things. To control your ki is to harmonize with the universe itself. When the samurai inhaled deeply before striking, he aligned his spirit with purpose. When he exhaled in battle, he released all doubt and hesitation. This ritual is the difference between chaos and flow. Panic arises when the energy of life becomes fragmented. Calm returns when it is unified. Every person carries this energy within, but few learn to wield it. Breath, therefore, is both sword and shield, the sword that cuts through confusion and the shield that protects against emotional collapse. It transforms instinct into awareness, reaction into art. Breathing consciously is the simplest yet most profound weapon against the storm of pressure. It demands no special tools, no time, no external mastery. Only the willingness to slow down and reclaim the present. Each deep breath is a declaration. I am here, I am unbroken, I am in control. This is how panic becomes power, not through suppression but transformation. The samurai did not run from fear, they refined it into focus. So, when your world begins to tremble, when the weight of expectation or failure bears down upon you, return to the breath, for in that single moment of awareness, you awaken the same force that guided the greatest warriors through battle. Calm, centered, unyielding. The breath is the first weapon and the final refuge of the strong. In the samurai way, the sharpest blade was never the one forged in fire. It was the mind honed through discipline. The warrior's true weapon was not steel, but detachment. To fight without attachment is to act with perfect freedom, to move without hesitation or fear of loss. Musashi spoke of this in his writings. The ultimate aim of martial arts is not having to use them. What he meant was that the greatest mastery is inner mastery, the ability to stand in the heart of conflict untouched by turmoil. The blade within is this silent strength, a spirit so disciplined it no longer clings to outcomes. Whether in victory or defeat, praise or insult, gain or loss, the warrior remains unshaken. Detachment does not mean indifference. It means presence without possession. It is the stillness that allows perfect motion, the emptiness that gives rise to precision. Like a blade balanced at its core, the samurai's mind stays centered, allowing him to cut through illusion and act only when necessary. Discipline is the fire that tempers this inner blade. Without it, emotion rusts the edge of judgment. Each morning a samurai trained not merely to strike or defend, but to conquer himself. Through repetitive practice, the endless swing of the sword, the stillness of meditation, the restraint of ego, he carved away all that was unnecessary. What remained was pure intent. This relentless process is what forged detachment. Through repetition, the mind learns to move beyond distraction, to act without anxiety or doubt. The warrior understands that fear and desire cloud perception, causing hesitation or recklessness. Only discipline can silence their voices. True detachment, therefore, is not born from apathy, but from mastery. Mastery over the self. To live with such discipline is to awaken a deeper strength, one that no external chaos can disturb. Detachment allows clarity. When one's actions are not tangled in emotion or expectation, every decision becomes sharp, deliberate, and effective. In combat, the undisciplined fighter swings wildly, driven by anger or pride. The disciplined warrior, however, moves only when necessary, and when he moves, it is final. This clarity extends beyond the battlefield. In life too, we face constant attacks. Criticism, uncertainty, temptation, loss. To react impulsively is to dull our edge. To respond from stillness is to cut cleanly through confusion. The blade within is this ability to remain unmoved yet ready, detached yet deeply aware. It is the mastery of emotion through observation, of impulse through intention. The more disciplined the spirit, the freer it becomes, for the warrior who controls nothing but himself controls all that matters. Musashi's life was a testament to this principle. He fought over 60 duels, yet his greatest victories came not from his sword, but from his state of mind. He approached combat as meditation, a test not of killing, but of seeing. Each battle reflected his own discipline, his own detachment from fear and desire. When others obsessed over form or reputation, Musashi lived in simplicity, sleeping under the stars, training in silence. He understood that the sword's sharpness depended on the stillness of its wielder. The more detached he became from outcome, the more precise his movements grew. This is why his enemies could not read him. He carried no emotional signal, no visible fear, no attachment to life or death. He became as unpredictable as wind and as calm as stone, the perfect embodiment of the blade within. To cultivate detachment through discipline is to train for peace, not for war. It means facing every challenge, failure, betrayal, pressure, as an opportunity to polish the inner blade. The disciplined spirit cuts through illusion, the illusion of control, of permanence, of identity. What remains is pure awareness, effortless, clear and focused. In a world of noise, distraction and urgency, this ability is the mark of a modern warrior. Every moment you resist anger, every time you choose calm over chaos, every breath that steadies your mind, you sharpen your inner sword. The blade within is not about destruction, but precision, not about distance, but depth. It is the art of moving through life unattached, yet deeply alive, calm, focused, and unstoppable. All things in this world rise and fall like the tide. The samurai understood this truth not as tragedy, but as liberation. They called it Mujo, the impermanence of all things. Every breath, every battle, every sunrise is fleeting, and to resist this truth is to suffer endlessly. Musashi lived by this awareness. He knew that to cling is to become heavy, and heaviness shatters under pressure. The warrior's calm comes from knowing that everything, no matter how painful or glorious, will pass. This acceptance is not weakness, it is clarity. To embrace Mujo is to flow with life rather than fight against it. Like a leaf drifting downstream, the samurai allows the river of time to carry him without resistance, trusting his spirit to remain steady in motion. In this acceptance, all fear dissolves. Fear of failure, fear of loss, fear of change. For what can be lost that was never meant to stay? The warrior who embodies Mujo becomes fluid like water, calm in victory, graceful in defeat. Impermanence teaches humility. Every victory fades, every scar heals, and even the sharpest blade dulls with time. The samurai bows to this truth, for it reminds him that nothing in this life truly belongs to him. Not success, not pride, not even life itself. When one accepts this, the weight of expectation lifts. Pressure loses its power. The modern mind suffers because it demands permanence, stability, in a world that constantly shifts. The samurai mind thrives because it flows. Musashi often said that one must move like water, adapt to the terrain, fill the cracks and remain formless. In this fluidity lies peace. When plans fail or the path bends, the warrior does not shatter, he adjusts, breathes, and continues. He knows that mastery is not in controlling events, but in harmonizing with them. Like the river that cuts through stone not by strength, but persistence, Mujo gives the samurai quiet endurance. To live with the awareness of impermanence is to awaken true gratitude. Every encounter becomes sacred, every challenge becomes a lesson, Every breath becomes a gift. The samurai does not take the moment for granted because he knows it will not return. This consciousness sharpens presence, the ability to live fully in the now. When one truly sees the transient nature of all things, life becomes vivid. The colors of the world appear brighter, the sound of the wind becomes meaningful, and even pain carries beauty. Mujo reminds us that the flower's beauty lies in its briefness. The cherry blossom is beloved precisely because it falls. The warrior carries this understanding in his heart. Cherish what is, release what was, and remain open to what will be. In this way, calmness becomes natural, not forced. It grows from appreciation rather than control. Musashi's calmness under pressure came from this flow of impermanence. He accepted that every battle could be his last, yet he faced each one without hesitation. By surrendering to impermanence, he became timeless. The samurai's composure was not built on denial of change, but on deep trust in the rhythm of existence. When you stop demanding that life obey your desires, you discover freedom. The same truth applies today. The anxiety of control vanishes when you accept that nothing is ever fixed. Your failures are not final, your success is not eternal, and your pain will not last forever. The heart that understands this becomes unshakable. Calmness is not found in freezing the moment, but in flowing with it. To embody Mujo is to live like a stream, always moving, always adapting, never breaking. The flow of Mujo transforms pressure into perspective. When things fall apart, the untrained mind panics, but the disciplined mind sees movement, the natural evolution of life unfolding. To remain calm under pressure is to trust this movement, to know that even the hardest moments are temporary currents leading you forward. The samurai stands firm not because he resists change, but because he moves with it. When chaos arrives, he breathes and flows. When opportunity appears, he seizes and releases. In this dance between stillness and motion lies the wisdom of the ancients. To live lightly, to hold nothing too tightly, to face every ending as the seed of a new beginning. Mujo is not a philosophy of loss. It is a philosophy of grace. The art of walking through impermanence with calm eyes, steady heart, and a spirit free as the wind. In the samurai's world, pressure was not an enemy to escape, it was a forge to enter. Every hardship, every loss, every test was fire meant to purify the spirit. The samurai did not wish for an easy path. He sought one that would burn away his weakness and reveal the steel beneath. This is the essence of Musashi's secret system, the understanding that adversity is the hammer that shapes the soul. The flames of difficulty refine what is raw and transform it into something unbreakable. When you stand in the fire of pressure and refuse to run, your fear melts, your doubt dissolves, and what remains is strength. Not borrowed, not learned, but earned through trial. The warrior does not curse the flame. He bows to it, for he knows that without pressure there is no polish. Without struggle, no mastery. Calmness is not the absence of tension. It is the strength to hold form while the world tests you. Musashi lived his life as both sword and fire. He placed himself in situations of constant challenge. Duels, isolation, hunger, and relentless training. He knew that comfort dulls the blade of spirit. By walking through hardship willingly, he discovered that pressure is not punishment but preparation. Each trial carved deeper resolve into his being. In this way, the samurai's life became a continual process of forging, a rhythm of heat and rebuild. Modern warriors face different battles, deadlines, rejection, uncertainty, emotional storms. Yet the principle remains eternal. Pressure is the same fire, invisible but equally capable of strengthening the one who endures it. When the world presses against you, it is asking a question: will you harden or will you break? The answer lies in your mindset, whether you see the fire as destruction or transformation. The forge of pressure demands surrender to discipline. Only through consistent effort can chaos become clarity. The samurai knew that when the heat rises, Emotion tries to take command. Panic, frustration, and anger surface like impurities in molten metal. The disciplined warrior allows them to burn off. Knowing they are part of the refining process, every challenge reveals hidden weaknesses, impatience, pride, doubt, and every time you face them without flinching, you strengthen the inner steel. Musashi's calmness was not natural, it was conditioned. He trained his spirit to remain unshaken no matter the pressure applied. That is the essence of transformation, repetition under fire. The modern mind often seeks escape, but the samurai seeks endurance. To endure consciously is to grow consciously. Pressure then becomes not a curse, but a craftsman, one that shapes you into something rarer, stronger, more defined. True composure is born in resistance. Just as the sword's edge is honed by friction, the human spirit sharpens through difficulty. Every time you stand your ground amid adversity, you are forged a little further. The process is painful, but pain itself is the signal of growth. Musashi's way teaches that suffering is not meant to break you, but to reveal your limits so you may transcend them. The warrior's calm under pressure comes from this intimate understanding that struggle is not chaos, it is creation. When life presses hard, he does not ask why me, but what is this shaping within me? Each blow becomes a lesson, each setback a spark. The samurai learns to trust the forge, to know that beyond the heat lies purity. In the end, his calmness is not a practiced performance, but a natural result of having walked through fire and returned unchanged. Or rather, transformed. The forge of pressure ultimately teaches one truth: resilience is choice. You may be hammered, bent, even scarred, but you are never destroyed unless you surrender. Every pressure you face is an invitation to evolve, to align with the same indomitable spirit that guided the samurai through centuries of war and uncertainty. The calm that emerges from this process is not fragile. It is elemental. It does not depend on circumstance, approval, or ease. It is forged deep within, where no one can reach or take it away. The modern warrior who understands this principle walks with quiet power, not because the world is kind, but because his spirit has become steel. When pressure comes again, he smiles, for he remembers this fire is not here to burn him. It is here to make him whole. In the end, the way of Musashi is not merely a method, it is a transformation. To stay calm under pressure is to awaken the spirit that lies dormant within us all, the spirit that does not bend to fear, noise, or chaos. Through Shin, we learn stillness amid storms. Through breath, we turn panic into power. Through discipline, we forge detachment and clarity. Through Mujo, we learn to flow with impermanence. And through the forge of pressure, we are purified into steel. These are not separate lessons, but steps of one path. The path of unshakable composure, born from awareness and mastery. Every great warrior, artist, or thinker faces the same truth. Pressure reveals what you truly are. It is easy to be calm when the wind is gentle, but to remain calm when the storm howls is the mark of mastery. The samurai's secret was never the sword. It was the stillness that guided it. When the world collapses around you and your pulse begins to race, remember this. Calm is not something you find, it is something you create. Breath by breath, choice by choice. You are the forge, you are the fire, you are the steel, being shaped by every challenge you face. So, warrior, when pressure tightens its grip, do not flee. Stand firm. Let your mind be still, your breath steady, your spirit silent and sharp. Every trial is an invitation to become something greater. Not harder, but wiser. Not colder, but clearer. Musashi's way teaches that peace is not at the end of struggle. Peace is forged within it. Carry that stillness into your battles, and the chaos of life will no longer shake you, for you will have become the storm itself. Calm, powerful, and unbreakable. And now, take a deep breath. Send to yourself, because this is not the end. This is where your training begins.